With interest rates at 7%, you're not going to believe how my client purchased this new construction home at a 5.3% interest rate, in which will cash flow with 30% down. Now let me show you how we did it. When to buy new construction? I think the two best times to purchase new construction is at the very beginning, when the builder is building an interest list, but there isn't a model home yet, and at the very end, when the builder is trying to close out a community. Builders typically have several price increases throughout a build out of a community. One, typically once the model home is completed, because most buyers can't envision a new construction home until they can physically touch and see it, and the builder will have several other price increases throughout the build out due to buyer demand, which we're seeing a lot of here in Vegas right now. Another great time to purchase new construction is at the very end of the community. Builders are typically eager to close out the community, and therefore you have a little more wiggle room to negotiate. This home was one of the last 4 homes in this community, so we were able to negotiate a lot of great incentives. This is a Richmond American single-family home located in the Southwest, just across the street from Southern Highlands. It was originally listed for $506,000. However, we got it right under $489,000, and the builder bought down the interest rate to a 5.3% fixed. This property is 1,500 square feet, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, with an upgraded quartz kitchen countertop, Duraform cabinets, and upgraded ceramic tile floors. I usually install luxury vinyl plank flooring into my rentals because they're much more cost effective and easier to install. However, ceramic tile flooring is actually the most durable. Ceramic tile flooring is water resistant and heat resistant. The only con is the grout maintenance. Since these are a little bit darker, I don't think it will be difficult to do the grout maintenance. However, if it is a lighter wood, I would definitely recommend sealing it. Another reason why I like purchasing towards the end of a construction phase is because your community is no longer a construction zone, and you could probably pull more accurate rental data points here. For my investor clients, I don't love the typical new construction process, which is you pick out a lot, you reserve the lot, you pick a floor plan, and then you wait the 6 to 12 months for it to be built out. My logic is that I don't really like tying up capital for an asset that won't generate you any income until it's completed. However, I do think quick move-ins and inventory homes are a great option for investors, and they typically have more wiggle room to negotiate. Items I like to negotiate: purchase price, interest rate buy downs, closing costs, and design upgrades. So this home was being sold without appliances. However, we got the builder to throw in GE stainless steel appliances at no extra cost. Things to think about with new home construction: window treatments. So I had this discussion with my buyer. Should you install window treatments even if it is an investment property? And personally, I do think you should as a landlord, because when a tenant moves in, they're going to want some privacy, and you could put it on the tenant to install these window treatments. However, they could do a bad job, and if they do install it, they can also take it with them once they move out, and then you're left with a bunch of drilled holes. So personally, I think it's less of a headache if the landlord just installs the window treatments. Backyards. Another thing to keep in mind is that new home construction typically leaves an unfinished backyard, and you will have 1 year to complete the backyard per the HOA. Richmond American did include pavers under this covered patio. However, typically most new construction will just leave a sand lot typical to this in the backyard. I would set aside anywhere between $5,000 to $20,000 to finish the backyard, depending on complexity, but keep in mind you will need to complete it within a calendar year, or you could potentially be fined. Something to note with this property, it was the last 4 in this community, and the builder was only going to do the special incentive buy down rate for a few more days. So when we toured the property, we knew we liked it, And the same day we toured the property, we verbally agreed to go under contract, and the next day we sent our reservation deposit. Now, if this property was being used as a primary home, the builder would have brought down the interest rate to 4.5%. However, my buyer and I did not want to commit mortgage fraud, so we let the builder know that we were using it as an investment property, and we were still able to get a 5.3% fixed interest rate. So there you have it. Hopefully some helpful tips for my investors that are interested in new home construction. If you're interested in buying, selling, or investing in Las Vegas, I love to help. My name is Shawna with the Thomas Group. You can find all my contact information at thethomasgrouplv.com, and I'll be at extension 9, and I'll see you in the next video.